Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside AWAI, Real Copywriters, Real Strategies, Real Success. I'm Katie Yakel, AWAI's Executive Director. I'm very happy to be here with you, and I'm very happy to introduce you to Kazi Quinton. Hi, Kazi.
Hi, Katie. Hi, everyone.
Talk about real strategies and real success. What a ride you've been on in the last, 18 months? Has it just been about 18 months?
Yep, that's it.
Fantastic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Oh gosh, what I'm doing now. Well, I work full time as a writer. I earn my living writing. I write for quite a variety of companies. I work for a fashion brand. I'm building out a civil engineer's website currently right now, building his LinkedIn profile. I'm working with a podcaster. I write other articles. I write a lot of biographies for speakers. Because I met a PR media lady, and I've written a lot of speaker biographies for TV personalities, dancers, corporate, a variety of entrepreneurs, really. So there's quite a lot I've done, sales pages, all kinds of interesting stuff, across the board.
Across the board. And for anybody that doesn't know, Kazi, this is what, your third or fourth career? Reincarnation, really. I mean, you started out as a crime investigator, and now you've found this world and you're just thriving in it. So it's so exciting to see. So how would you say, what's been most influential or impactful for you in making the jump into this new writer's life?
Well, writing is something I've always loved to do, Kate. And I think hopefully there'll be many people listening who want to become a writer or have started the process already. And writing was something that I loved to do. And I used to write cases for Crown Court. Because you're quite right, I used to work for the police as a coroner's officer, then as an investigating officer. Prior to that, I was a teacher. Subsequent to that, I worked in the corporate industry. But I always wanted to be a writer. But I felt I never could cut the mustard. I wasn't sure, but something was holding me back. But in actual fact, when I found AWAI, I got the confidence actually to move forward. And then from that, a series of events happened. And then I took the leap, and it's just been an absolutely incredible 18-month journey.
That's so exciting. And, when you say you took the leap, you really did. And you put yourself out there, and you are definitely the embodiment of telling everyone, hey, I'm a writer. I can help you out. Why don't you tell us about how you got your very first client?
Okay. Yeah, you're quite right. You know me so well. I was working in the corporate world, and I kept thinking all the time, how do I jump? How do I become a full-time writer from here? And one day a conversation happened with a lady I worked with only on occasion, saying that she wanted to grow her small practice. And literally the moment she said those words, I recognized that was my moment. That was my in. So I said to her, I'm a copywriter, which I really wasn't at the time, but I said, I'm a copywriter. I can help you with every aspect of your copy, and I'm going to help you grow that practice. We worked out a fee. She was happy with it. I could just about live on it. And that's how come my journey began. And everything that I learned, I qualified in, was AI. The fact that I had the support of AI meant that I wasn't ever really
AWAI. Not AI.
AWAI. So that's how I started. That's how I got my first client. And literally from there, opportunities just never stopped passing my front door, so to speak, because they didn't come. It was opportunity. I mean, if you want me to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened and how I got clients, it's quite bizarre. It's probably unusual, but it's very much like you say. I seized every daily opportunity to tell everybody I bumped into that I was a copywriter, and work just came. It just fell on my lap. I remember one incident. I was in Washington, flying back to the UK where I live. And I was at Seattle Airport looking for a charger to charge my laptop. I found a charging station where there was one gentleman on his laptop, and he asked me, what do I do for a living? I said, I'm a copywriter. I love copy. And he asked me to explain what copy was. I did. And then he said, actually, can you come and take a look at my website? And I said, sure, I'd be delighted. We had 10 minutes before our flight. I gave him a critique of his website because I'd been studying with AWAI on how to do website copy. And he said, before you go, give me your number. We're going to have a call next week. I want to talk to you. And he had a hugely successful engineering firm in Germany. So we did a few things together. I took my flight. The following week, obviously, I had a call, and that was how I gained him. And then a couple of weeks later, I was shopping Sunday morning. I took my mother to a market, and there was a beautiful stall with amazing clothes that I loved. I got talking to the owner and said, "Your clothes are beautiful." She explained that she was a wholesale international fashion brand, and this is where she sold her end of stock. I then asked her how she bundled up her bundles. A conversation took place. I have just rewritten their website. I write a journal for their boutiques and for their shops and all around the world. And I do their trade show copy as well. And I've been working for it for some time now. And that happens literally, that happens all the time. I mean, my most recent client is a client that I met through someone who knew me barely. And they asked if I would come and speak about copy because they thought it was quite funny. They used to call me a word nerd. And did I have anything else to talk about? And I'm like, nope, it's my subject. I'm talking copy. So she asked me last Christmas to talk for a 20-minute speech to ladies who have their own businesses, just a 20-minute chat. And actually, what I decided to do, because she said speak about anything, I decided to speak about email marketing. And I found a free resource with one of the courses I took at AWAI. And that free resource had so many amazing statistics that I created that into a 20-minute talk. And my co-speaker that day was a journalist who owned a PR media company. And I got work instantly from that event. The journalist hired me the next day. I've written over 60 speaker biographies for her. One of her speakers was a lady who loved what I wrote so much. It's her husband I now work for building the civil engineering website. I've gone on to meet other clients who have multi-million pounds from that company. And then from that company, I met somebody who asked me to come to a ball close to my city a couple of months ago. They only gave me one evening's notice. And I said, you know what, I'm going to come. It's for charity. I'm going to come. I went to that ball the next evening. And a lady, again, I'd only met once, came over to my table, which was the far end of the room, and said, I'm talking to a lady on that end of the room who has a business in London. And she's just been telling me she's had a lot of difficulty finding the correct writer for her business. She'd hired journalists, she'd hired communication strategists. And she said, I just told her, Kazi, that she needs you. So can you come over? It was halfway through the evening. I went over to her table, and this wonderful lady, very successful, brilliant entrepreneur, her and I talked. And when we lifted our heads up from the desk talking about business and copy, every single person had left the ball, and the cleaners were back still there. I am now their in-house copywriter. And last week I was speaking at one of their events in London.
Wow.
These events, Katie, they happen every day. You have to just put yourself out there and say you're a writer, and then lead with that.
Yes, that's such great advice. And, you know, there are some people that aren't as outgoing as you are, but this can be done through LinkedIn. It can be done on other ways. You know, there's other ways of connecting with people as well. But I love this. And it's just such proof that you just have these conversations. People want to know how they can make their businesses more successful. And when you provide answers and insights, it just opens up so many opportunities. So Kazi, you are working with, so you have your own freelance business and you have all these multiple clients. How are you finding managing all that part of it, the business part of it?
Yeah, I have to be honest. In the beginning, it was a little tricky because I didn't know how to write the agreements. I wasn't sure how much to charge. I didn't know how to manage my time effectively because I do tend to get very lost in my copy. I'm so excited. I'm so interested. It's like I'm on a crime case again and I'm looking for the details. Well, that's not good when I'm getting paid for that piece of content and I still have another 16 other pieces to do. So AWAI, again, you have templates. So I downloaded your templates and it told me like how to manage my time, how much to charge, how to write my agreements. And I found that incredibly helpful.
Excellent.
So that's helped me budget a lot and work my time more effectively, you know?
Good. Excellent. And you are part of Circle of Success. So all of these programs that you're mentioning are part of that. What is the community of writers that you've met? How have they helped you and influenced you and impacted your journey here?
Oh, for me personally, I think if you want to be a writer, if you want to make it as a writer, you need to be in AWAI, because for me, it's my happy place. It's my nunu, if you like, when a child has a little blanket and because I know there is nothing that I can't do. There is no copywriting. Even if I've never done it before, because I've already found it here. Everything I learned, I studied SEO before I came to AWAI, and I just never got it, Katie. I don't know why, but it just wasn't clicking. I did a 1-hour session with Nick Esborn, brilliant copywriter from AWAI. And within 1 hour, I nailed SEO. I now have consultant meetings with clients, and I can talk about SEO like I've been in the marketing for years. If I have a problem, I come to the community here. I would reach out to, as a COS member, you get mentoring, which is just amazing. Because for me, I would look up a mentor, and I've made friends with many of the writers here now, which is wonderful. As you know, I recently wrote a book. I asked Nick Esborn what he thought of the book, and he very kindly was so impressed. He wrote the foreword for the book.
Yeah.
So having the support, because when you write, you're quite lonely in a way. It's a one-man job, but you need to be like that in order to write, which is the joy of it. But then at the same time, sometimes you want to bounce ideas around or talk to someone or ask for some help or advice. You have all of that here in my COS, which you're aware I call my CTT, my copywriting treasure trove. I find I love it in there. It's like going into a magic cave and going, wow, everything sparkles. So everything I need is in there. And if I need to talk to a human, to another writer, I go to the mentoring. I've made friends in AWAI, and that's been incredibly helpful and very supportive. I think you need that, and that's been very effective for me.
Yeah. So we've talked about putting yourself out there, getting a community. Any other advice for fellow writers?
Something that, thank you, Katie. Yes, something I did only a couple of days ago. Today's Tuesday, Saturday. I recently met someone through a client who had a podcast, and one of my weakest areas, believe it or not, is speaking. And I get asked to speak now a lot, and I decline most of them, but it is coming more and more. And I realized that I do actually need to do that for my business. And they're very short talking engagements, but I'm not very good at that. And I'm also not very good on camera and audio. I realize that's my weakest area.
Disagree. I disagree.
But you're very sweet. So I met an amazing gentleman last week who owns a podcast production company. And I only met him because he did a podcast with a client of mine, and I needed something from him for her content that week. He invited me to his studio. We spent the day working in his studio on Saturday, and he asked me to critique his website, which I gladly did. And he has now changed his entire website based on what I told him to do, which is all learning from AWAI. And he now wants to help me on camera, and he's invited me to run a podcast with him, just him and I. So trading skills, where no money takes place, meeting people who can support and help you in your business. And that value transaction, I think, is very important as well for writers.
That's great advice. That's great to look for people that you complement what they need, they complement what you need. I love this because you're going to take over the podcasting world. I have no doubt, with just a little confidence and practice there. Okay, so, and we've talked about so many things, but I do want to ask, what are you most excited about now, either in your career or just in your life?
Oh, great question. Well, for me, being able to write for a living is amazing. I mean, I used to spend my life in suits, in high heels, in courtrooms, running across central London to get a train, in rush hour, in and out of taxis. And as you can see today, I'm riding in a summer top. I have jean shorts on and flip-flops on my feet here. Right. And I've been to the dentist today already, where I may have met another client, by the way, because the guy asked me what I did, and he owns a furniture company. So he's going to call me. That was just 2 hours ago. And I just think if you want to be a writer, from my own personal experience of the last 18 months, it isn't that difficult. If you love what you do, and I love what I do, and if you have support, and I have everything I need with AWAI for me, then I just think you have to give it your best shot and jump with both feet and go in deep and go for it. Because we always say we coulda, we shoulda, we woulda, but we never did. So right. When does that day come? If you want to be a writer, if that's your dream, everything you need, for me, I found it in AWAI. And also writing for a living, I meet amazing people. 2 weeks ago, I met an athlete who has raised £163,000 for charity, an amazing lady. And I met her because I agreed to help a friend run an event for a couple of days. And the friend asked me to talk during the event, which I did gladly. this lady who's in the audience came up to me after and asked me to write a speaker biography to improve her profile online, her website, her LinkedIn. That lady had 63 followers when I started with her just a couple of weeks ago. She now has over 500 because I taught her a LinkedIn strategy, everything from AWAI. She is 72 next month. She is remarkable. And writing about these ladies, every day I write about fashion, I write about mental health, I write about climate change apps, I write about business owners who have ADHD. It's a wonderful day to wake up to every day. And I write video scripts, telephone scripts, email campaigns. And if I get stuck, I come to AWAI. What's not to like, you know?
Oh, that's so great. And thank you for sharing your insights and keeping us part of this journey that you're on. I'm just so excited to see what's next for you, Kazi. Just wishing you all the best and keep in touch.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. Thank you.